It's 5 o'clock and you're off the clock will be Scott. And today we got Scott Robnett with us, and he is from Nut Grub. Now, me and Dad and Mom, we've been using this for years now, and it really works. Okay, if you want to find out what deer you have in the area, you put a bag of Nut Grub on the ground, and you're going to find out. So he's going to tell us what goes into it, what makes it special, and how it's the original Nut Grub. So, guys, leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and let's get into it. So, Scott, tell me how you got associated with Nut Grub, when it started for you, and what Nut Grub's all about.
Well, I started using Nut Grub, and Luke just reminded me that we used it down in Stuttgart, it works so good. And I'm a terrible deer hunter, terrible. And
no kidding.
Yeah,
we are too.
I grew up as a duck hunter in Stuttgart, and if you'd have told me that I would have owned the best deer feed company, I would have called you crazy. But it's we started using it, and then I bought a place up in North Arkansas, and one of my friends, Stoney Wagner, told me, he goes, "Man, we've got to get Nut Grub up here." And the funny thing about deer hunters is, if you throw a bag of rocks out on the ground and they kill a huge buck,
that's it.
They're gonna say, "Oh man, you got to use that bag of rocks." But so I was skeptical, right? Especially from Stoney. And we put it out, and there were 17, 18 deer standing around a pile. And, the more aggressive doe would stand up on their back paws and
fight.
And fight. And it was, I thought, wow. So fast forward to 2021, I called the owner of Nut Grub then and said, "Hey, I'd like to come get a pallet." And I get over to Jacksonville, and he said, "Well, we're only making one box truck, 26-foot box truck of Nut Grub this year." And I thought that was odd. So I took that pallet to my place, and while I was on the way, I thought, you know what? Something told me to just go back and get another pallet, but I also wanted to pick his brain.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him, I said, "Hey, why are you only making, 10 pallets, whatever it was?" And he said, "Well, we can't get product. We can't get raw materials." And I thought, well, that's what I do for a living, is supply chain. And,
so you have a background of kind of connecting the dots.
And for me, that's the easy part, because that's just all I've ever done. And I asked him, I said, "Hey, if you ever want to sell this place, you let me know." And they didn't have a place. It was just, they have an insurance company, and you pulled up and you filled your truck up.
So they were kind of just doing it on the side foremost. It wasn't necessarily
I think, and they would
deal.
Right. They were doing insurance, and I think they owned a couple of Subways and whatever. And so it was a really, I didn't think, and they would tell you this. They told me, they said, "We just didn't give it the attention that it deserves."
Right.
So fast forward again to May of 22, and they called me and said, "Hey, you still interested?" And we went back and forth, and we closed March 24th of 2023. And I tell you what, I trial by fire, but we're doers. We don't sit back and wait for other people to do things for us. So hired a guy that I am so thankful. I could tell you all day about the blessings, but Terry Mays he's my GM for Nut Grub, and I can't be more thankful. And Luke helps out, and Jeff Curvin, he's one of my drivers, and it is the most fun I've ever had professionally.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you don't meet anybody with pronouns. You don't meet anybody that's a tree hugger, and
I'm talking about.
Yeah, we're conservatives, man. We're Trump
We're
guys.
just trying to bring in big bucks.
That's right.
That's what it's about, is the big bucks.
Yeah, and we've enjoyed it so much. We had a record year revenue-wise last year. This year's up about 40%. But I think really what it boils down to is we didn't treat it. We're treating it. We run it like a company, not as a hobby.
Right. Not a side gig, more
That's
like
right.
a growing process.
That's right.
So give me the breakdown. What makes Nut Grub so good? Because we've been using it for years now. And one thing we noticed is early season, we'll throw that Nut Grub out, and it's like any buck in the area just flocks to it.
That's right. I really think it's such a unique smell with the peanut, the amount of peanut meal we put in it. We have chunks of peanuts, as you know, in it, and the raccoons, of course, like those. But I think it's a mixture of all of it: the corn, the rice bran, we had. I'll tell you this: we really struggled with. We had to raise the price by $4 a bag whenever I bought it. And I don't want to go into all why and what and how, but that's whenever I really started panicking, because a 40% price increase in 1 year is
pretty high.
It's crazy.
When there's, tons of bait companies out there making this, J&B this, whatever it may be, in little bags and big bags.
Yeah, that's right.
Just a lot.
Yeah. So, but it didn't take long for us to realize that our customer base, I think they're similar to yours. You guys, you probably have, your customers it's almost like a groupies, know.
Without a doubt.
And that's what I loved about Big Buck Classic. We did a lot of educational stuff at Big Buck Classic, because people were saying that they were buying, we've been buying Nut Grub from so-and-so, and when in fact they've been buying a competitor's product. And we showed them a comparison, and they thought, well, yeah, no wonder they're not coming to that.
Yeah, I seen you on your label, on the top of the label, you put original Nut Grub.
I did that after I bought it.
Yep.
Because I needed everybody to know that this is the real McCoy.
So you have a lot of people knocking your product off?
I don't know how many can you name, Luke? 7 or 8 probably.
Probably 7 or 8.
Yeah, that's right.
Really.
And
so what? I mean, there's nothing you can do about that.
No. So I was explaining to Brandon, there was actually a lawsuit, whatever, and back with the previous owners and one of the other guys that used to bag it for us, and he basically, if that formula is changed 1/1,000,000%, it's a complete new product.
They change it at all, basically.
Any bit, it's a new product, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
Nothing I can do about it. But what they don't have is our logo, our big buff and big buff buck, and then we grow them bigger.
Yeah.
And I think, and the other thing that we do, Terry he's got 35 years in supply chain.
Yeah.
And we plan. The big rub on it was they couldn't get it. They couldn't, they'd run out of product, and then they didn't know where to get new raw materials, and they would run out of product quite a bit.
Right.
And they wouldn't call people back. And quite frankly, they did have a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
But we call you back, we take care of you, and there won't be one customer, not one, that complains about our customer service.
Right.
And we had,
surely there's not much customer service with feed, huh?
Feed.
I mean, you get people that don't like the feed.
Well, when I mean customer service, I'm talking about like getting it to them on time. And,
I got you.
Yeah,
just the logistics of it.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Who doesn't like Nut Grub? I mean,
So do y'all do anything for testing the product? Like what does a test for a feed product look like?
do y'all buy other competition or competitors and test feed to feed and try to improve it?
Yes, constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And we know exactly what's in their bag, and we know the nutritional content. And it goes back to testing. I think it's very important in my world. Just like with your aluminum extrusions that you buy, you've got a specification that
That's right.
they have to adhere to. I have the same requirements of any of my baggers. They have to make it exactly like I want it, or we don't pay for it.
Right.
Now, that's a little different in the feed business. Precision isn't really that's not a thing in the feed business. But what's funny is our bags, I think they say 17, not less than 17% protein. And I can show you every other load we get it tested. Our suppliers don't know that, by the way. Well, they will now, I guess. But we have it tested, and we constantly are running 19.5 to 20% on our nut grub. And we will not vary from that formula, not one bit. I just won't sell it.
Right. Well, it's obviously a proven product. I mean, I've been using it for 2 years.
Absolutely. Long before we knew you.
Yeah. And I love it. Absolutely love it. I mean,
it's really unique. And you were talking about early season, and it's really a cool thing to see. You get an early glimpse of the bucks.
Yeah, it's like you just get like a report of what's in the area.
I tell people all the time, if you go to a new piece of land and you want to know exactly what's on that property, buck wise, put a bag of nut grub out.
Matter of fact, I think we actually have a clip. We just picked up a piece of property we got access to hunt, and we've had it now for 2 nights and 1 day, and I can't tell you how many bucks we've had on camera, like at least 15 different ones.
I think we've seen 2 shooters, possibly 2 shooters. I mean, we need to put our eyes on them. But
there's one right there.
I mean, we just put this stuff out 2 days ago. I mean, look, you can see the date right there.
10/23.
Yeah, my wife calls me and says, "Hey, we got to go replace all the batteries." We put out 8 cameras and 8 piles of nut grub.
And every one of them cameras has been going off day and night since
I'm not kidding you.
It's like a slot machine going off.
And I'm
addicted to refreshing it.
But
I'm
look,
over in bed at night, like scrolling it.
I mean, we put 8 piles of nut grub out on this brand new property, and we got an inventory of bucks.
50 pounds.
Yeah.
One sack per place.
So
we could have done it with the smaller sacks, but we didn't have the smaller sacks then.
No, you got to throw it all out there. Let's go. Let's throw a 50-pound bag.
Well, we did. I mean,
we swing for the fence.
Yeah,
that's what we do here.
So I don't know if Luke remembers this, but we put 200 pounds on the ground. I mean, the pile was probably 3 feet tall. 36 hours later, it looked like somebody came through with a Hoover vacuum and sucked it all up. And I got it all.
They absolutely love it.
It's insane. They love it. And we found when we were harvesting some doe back in December, we found that they had more fat on them, and they were heavier than we've ever had. So we know, and I hadn't been really feeding like I want to, because we're in a CWD management zone.
Right.
But they're going to be so much bigger and stronger and healthier. And we'll get into that. But I think late season, after everything goes dormant, that's when you'll really start to see, look at him.
Look at that dude.
He's checking it out right now. See, that's his first time there, and he's not too sure what it is. But watch.
That's like me going into a Chipotle right there.
He's fixing to be like hooked like a crackhead here.
Yeah, he's about to bury that nose up in that stuff right here.
That's right.
But yeah, we got videos like this of deer checking it out. You know, most deer are kind of shy when they first see the pile, away. But you see them does already hitting it already, flattening it out.
Oh yeah, no, there's been deer in there.
This is a brand new deer to a brand new pile.
What I'll notice is the first deer is always the most skeptical. And then when they finally break and they start eating that nut grub, all the other ones just compound in.
I guess they can smell it or something, because it's just weird. You put one pile out anywhere, and here comes the deer.
Yeah.
Obviously, they can smell it.
Well, it's and I don't want to give away too many secrets, but we do certain things to the peanut meal.
Yeah.
And
I wouldn't give out any secrets.
I wouldn't give out any secrets, but I would just say that it's,
But we do some certain things with it, but they smell it from a long ways off. I can't tell you how many people came up to me at the Big Buck Classic and, what is that? Who's throwing stuff on the side?
It's probably my wife.
It's a Toyota. We got a corner that slings corn on the back of the Toyota, and you hit a button and it just shoots.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But they would come up and tell us, hey, we took a 5-pound bag out in the middle of our 1,200 acres, and I'd never hunted that spot before. Took a climber. 36 minutes later, the biggest buck, 14 point. I could show you so many pictures and stories like that. We've never seen this buck before.
Right.
Things like that. We had a guy from Vermont last year. We shipped him a pallet of nut grub in August. He was in Kansas hunting, and he said, I had hunted 4 days. I didn't see any big bucks, and the outfitter was in Fort Smith at I think it was Jelco, and he bought 4 or 5 bags of nut grub to try it out. And he said the next morning, they put it out that evening. The next morning, there were 7 bucks. They said over 150.
Yeah,
and he shot a 165-inch buck, and he called me. He goes, I don't know what you put in this stuff.
Yeah,
but brings them in.
My cameras are going off.
I know mine have been this whole time, and it's killing me not to look at it.
It's like a Christmas gift.
It is.
I mean, these deer has never seen this stuff. We put this stuff out a couple days ago, and our cameras aren't stopping.
Daytime. Show the camera.
These
Point
bucks
to the camera. Show them.
these bucks are daytiming.
Yeah.
You know,
right now.
It's crazy.
Speaking of this video that's up on the screen right now, though, one thing I'm super excited about is trying that 5-pound bag out, because as you can see here, you know, she would be throwing out 5-pound bags right now.
I'm so impressed. I've got to talk to my wife. Luke, do you think Lauren would do that too?
Hey, you know,
maybe with a 5-pound bag.
We will have training. We will have training camps. You know,
that's it. Send your wife to have
Ashley's training camp,
the Wreaking Havoc Nut Grub training camp.
If you can.
But my wife will appreciate the 5-pound bags, because you know,
she will.
When you first put the Nut Grub out and you get them hooked on it, you don't have to put all of it out. You could freshen it up. 5-pound bags here, 5-pound bags there, and she would love that. Plus, we get more work out of her because she can cover more cameras, more land, and she'll have more room in her car.
Faster.
See?
Faster.
So I'm thinking of 5-pound bags. She can hit like 12 spots up instead of 6.
And she don't have to just carry one 5-pound bag. She can go a 5-pound bag in each hand. That's 10 pounds she can carry now.
That's right. I think we're gonna cover more ground by giving her smaller bags.
Well, and you can stretch that by throwing it over corn.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to. That's what some people do. But I'm telling you, the 5-pound bag is a home run for people. Especially if you want to hunt a place that you've never hunted, and you want to, maybe you got a climber, and you see some buck activity rubs, scrapes. You can throw a 5-pound bag in and get after it.
I just got a picture of this buck that's hitting a Nut Grub right now.
I mean, I'm a saddle hunter. You know, I bow hunt 90% of the season. I'm not really that big of a gun hunter,
right?
So I'm always in my saddle, hanging sticks, running and gunning. A 5-pound bag for me is money, because then I can just keep a couple in the truck. You know, I got my sticks on me all the time. Go hit a new spot or try to get in a spot in between two places, because sometimes they might be hitting at night. So you have to move in or cut them off, you know, and I like to cut them off and with my sticks. So just taking a little bit of bait, just throw it up in the air. And that's what makes this stuff right here so cool too. Makes me excited is I didn't even know y'all made this.
Yeah, it was sold back in 2020, and we tried to get it back last year. And to be honest with you, we weren't ready last year, but that is an oil-based pheromone spray, and we use it. And it smells like heavy butterscotch, I think.
Ooh,
don't you think?
That thing's stout, yeah.
Yeah,
no, it does. It does smell like that.
And
so we're gonna spray that stuff on our feeds.
So 4 to 5 squirts per 50 pounds of feed, and I don't put as much on the Nut Grub because Nut Grub's such a strong smell anyway.
On its own.
Yeah. So, but what you're looking for is if you spray it on the ground, or you can spray it in your feeder too.
Yeah.
Just a question: could you spray it on like the bottom of your boots when you're walking in?
That's exactly.
Kind of cover your.
That's what I was going to tell you. Do that, and then sometimes I'll spray it like on the tree.
Are you leaving a box of that with us?
I got you all kinds of goodies.
Oh yeah, I'm excited.
We'll field trial this today. This evening. We will have this out there today.
Look at Ashley's carrying cameras out there. She's ready. She knows when it's Nut Grub time. She knows when it's Nut Grub time.
She's ate up with it too, though. Now listen,
she is ate up with it.
Our lease is split down the middle here in Fordyce, and one side is split by a highway.
She got like 300 acres on her side. We can't go.
Our side's like 400 acres. Her side's 300 acres. We damn it, we can't step foot on the other side of the road.
Yeah, she carries her own Nut Grub in there. I shot a buck one time over there, and that was a wrong thing to do.
Oh, she got on.
She tried to kick us out of the club. There's only 3 of us in there.
Luckily, you know, majority vote here won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've got it in the 16 ounce, but and the other thing I like
the small ones there.
Yeah,
I do too.
The other thing that we do is we
Kryptonite.
It's a little 2-ounce spray that you can put in your backpack, your pocket, what have you. And like you said, you'll spray your bottom of your feet.
Yeah.
And then maybe a leaf or two. And we've even seen the deer will follow that trail because they relate it to feet.
Yes, they're just tracking it in.
That's exactly right. And what it does, the pheromone, it hits the olfactory bulb. And this guy, he's a chemical engineer, and he was trying to explain it to me one day. And you know, I'm just a chemical engineer, but does it work? Yes. We've had people tell us they spray it on tree stumps, rotten tree stumps, and those deer will they'll just eat the tree stump. They'll just nibble on it and eat it. So it's
stout smelling, so I can see them definitely going over there.
Yeah, and the other thing we do is we spray it around where they're going to be standing.
Yeah,
and they walk in it, and because it's oil based, it will not get off it'll stay on their hooves, and they'll trail it off.
So they're kind of spreading the scent around.
That's right.
And they're basically leading the trail right back to it.
Yeah, and there's nothing on the market like it. Nothing.
That is really good.
You didn't get the HD picture?
I got a little bit of it on my fingers.
It should be the HD picture.
Before we got started, and I can still smell it.
I spilled some in my old truck, and it smells good, and it's still in there, So
that's funny.
But it's a unique product, and you don't want to spray too much. But 4 to 5 squirts per 50-pound bag.
I just like to. I mean, the logo is awesome too. I love the logo.
The big buck, the buff, buck right there is amazing.
If I get that tattooed on me, do I get Nut Grub for life?
You're getting Nut Grub for free anyway.
Hey, just tell him to go ahead and tramp.
I just like the tattoo.
Tramp stamp it for that.
Yeah, but go ahead and do it. We'll work it out. We're not going to tell you where to put. We grow it bigger.
That's so.
Yes. You don't want to wish my wife. My wife would add a word in there. We wish it was bigger.
Oh, now see, I'm not. Your wife has already proven she's a tough cookie.
That's
so
she is. So
there it is right there.
So Andy McGee, when we were in Northwest Missouri and we were hunting at their place up there, they had Nut Grub Plus. And it was the first time I seen Nut Grub Plus.
What up in Missouri?
Northwest Missouri, and he said, man, this has made such a huge difference in our population of deer here. What you'll notice is when you kill a deer is there won't be no ticks, no bugs, the deer will look healthier. Their fur will be soft. I mean, everything will be good on them. Right. And when Dad, you shot that deer, I was blown away because it was
really hot. I mean, I had ticks on me.
There wasn't a single tick on that deer.
We need to get you some Nut Grub Plus.
I need to start eating Nut Grub Plus.
Yeah, there won't be any ticks.
What does that do what does that do though? Like when you're baiting pre-season? I mean, is that that's got to help the deer population?
Well, I could talk about this.
It takes some stress off of them for sure.
Yeah. So when I bought Nut Grub, the revenue stream, it whenever I tell you it dies off after middle of December.
Seasonal.
Pretty much. Oh yeah. And there, you look at the P&L from the previous company, and there's no revenue from January till May-ish. And you can't have a company that doesn't have any revenue coming in.
So what do you do in those months?
You're
probably about to tell us, aren't you?
We pray a lot.
Okay.
But so I've got ADD, and I don't mind telling you that. And so when my mouth is not running, my mind is working overtime, thinking about ways we can improve, not just Nut Grub, but at my other company as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought, how can we create a revenue stream for Nut Grub? And it doesn't have to be a lot, but how do we do that? So let's create some products that people will buy that will help their deer herd. And I'll be honest with you, I was driving down the road one day and I thought, wait a second, why don't we put a flea and tick, something for fleas and ticks? And that morphed. We worked with the second biggest animal wildlife nutrition company in the world. We spent months and months working on an additive that we feel like is good. There's nothing on the market like Nut Grub.
So they
Plus.
do that in a cattle business.
They do it in goats and lambs and what have you, but there's no deer feed that has all those ingredients. And we've got a couple of super secret ingredients that this Nut Grub Plus, it's got the insect repellent, and we have to call it an insect repellent. We can't call it a flea and tick repellent because of I think it's the FDA.
Right.
But so if a fly, a horse fly, anything like that lands on it, it will not stay on that deer very long at all because it smells it.
Right.
It also has a organic vasodilator, so it increases the blood flow to all the, everywhere. And then we have all the vitamins and minerals and amino acids and electrolytes that they need, especially in the dormant season. We were talking about that earlier, Tim, and there's no food. I mean, there is food, but it's very limited in the dormant season. So why not give them something that is going to replace the nutritional needs that they need, and then some.
Yeah.
Because we all know, I mean, we were just talking about the fleas and ticks.
I mean, a lot of people just feeds corn just to attract deer, but
it's just attractant. Yeah.
But you're thinking a lot further into it. You're trying to make the herd
manage
healthier.
Yeah.
Grow bigger horns. And I noticed, David, you had Daniel, you had the pellets up there, and so it's Nut Grub pellets.
Yeah.
What will that take place of? Because corn is like candy to deer. They come and just eat it, but it gives them nothing.
It's 7 or 8%, 7 or 8% protein.
So this pellet is that something I could replace corn with?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And you're gonna see. And
is it different than Nut Grub? I mean, I know it's Nut Grub, but does it have a different smell?
It absolutely does. Yeah. Here's the thing about
cool.
Because I can put that in a spreader, back of the Toyota,
that's
and,
right.
And sling that out. Yeah. Versus corn.
That's right. Well, it has the Nut Grub Plus components in it too. We call it Herd Max Plus. So Herd Max Plus has got the additive.
And you brought me some of that too.
Okay, I got to get that to you next week because my truck is full.
Oh. we're gonna be hitting the woods with all these new goodies. Dude.
All right, Luke.
It's gonna be crazy.
You got to bring some more stuff down here.
So going back to the insect,
it's a lot of good information though. This is a lot of
repelling
information
in the Nut Grub Plus. Does that do anything to the meat of the deer once you've harvested the deer?
No. Everything's organic. Everything's organic in there. Every bit of it is organic. So you don't. It's like we're not like the. All these food companies throw all that
like
there.
Pumping chemicals.
That's
in.
right.
We don't want to grow no like third nipples or nothing. We just want to kill a deer and eat it.
Yeah, it's 100% organic, and this is not something that this was my brainchild, but this is something that this company that we worked with, a biologist, nutritionist. I mean, it's the real deal. And I'm telling you, we have more mass on our deer this year. Our bucks, our doe are a lot bigger. They look healthier. There's no ticks. I've got 320 acres, and I'm telling you right now, I've got 13 Tacticam cameras out, and I have not seen a tick on a deer in months.
I got a buck out there right now.
He's checking cameras. Look at this.
I can't help it. Y'all check this out.
Is it on the Nut Grub?
I know you got to see that there's obviously a buck right now eating out of the Nut Grub.
And we're working.
And that's the fourth one this morning.
Me and Luke just put that buck by that camera this morning.
Yeah. It's amazing, guys. I mean, if you guys don't use this Nut Grub, you're missing out. It's real good stuff.
Some things just work.
I can't tell you enough how good this stuff is, and I'm really interested in using some of this new product I didn't even know you guys had, which is sad, but we're gonna let everybody know what you have and how we can use it. And of course, my wife is gonna be super excited about the 5-pound bags.
Yeah, we brought you plenty of those. So hopefully, maybe she'll let me come hunt on that.
Yeah,
absolutely. Hey, you might be the only person allowed.
I guarantee you,
on the other side
if you bring a bag of Nut Grub, you can get in.
So the important thing that one of the things that we treat this company. I'm so blessed to own this company. It's a lot of fun. We get to meet people like you guys and David with his matching. His phone case and what have you.
Oh yeah.
You got a matching phone case?
Daniel for the longest time had his watch, his phone case, and his glasses would match every day. And it's the little details for him. He's really detail oriented. That's right.
But yeah, it's such a blessing, and you get to meet a lot of people, and it's really, I think it's the most fun I've ever had. But you also get to see people. The exuberance that they have whenever they come up to us and they go, I mean, you will not believe, what happened. And we're like, yeah, we know.
It's truly amazing. I mean, I tell everybody.
Yeah. I feel like people out there, some people just don't know. Haven't experienced it.
I'm not going fishing without live scope, and I'm not going hunting without Nut Grub.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. I mean, a lot of people haven't experienced it, but Nut Grub will really show you what you have. Now, they might not be going to it the whole time. Once the rut kicks in, they're not eating on really nothing. But it definitely gives you an idea of where the bucks are. It gives you a start,
And speaking about that, so like if I was building a feed plan, just kind of in my head right now, what if like early season, you start them out on that Nut Grub Plus because it's so hot.
Well, you want to
keep the insects off of them with Nut Grub Plus, and then when it starts to cool off, you have the regular Nut Grub out there, And then after they get done rutting, where they're all tore up, the bodies are all, wore out, you hit them again with the Nut Grub Plus so they recover, better.
It's got a component in it, one of the super secret components that it actually, they give it to racehorses to help them recover after a race so they can run again. And it also increases their appetite because, in the rut, they don't eat.
Right.
They don't really slow down to eat or even take a drink. So it actually makes them thirsty, more thirsty. And again, this is coming from the nutrition company, not Scott from Stuttgart. And I thought, man, that is amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing. And they, a buck and rut will kill itself chasing girls. I don't know that I ever killed myself, but I sure, I got
back in the younger days.
I get it.
Well, yeah, I mean that's just what you did, but they'll actually, a buck will kill itself.
Yeah,
and this makes it increases their immune system. And let's talk about the ticks. And we were talking about ticks. I mean, imagine the diseases. And what is it, EHD and
all the stuff you see going around where it's shutting places down. And
I mean, you got a video of a yearling trying to eat a pile of nut grub,
and I'll find the video and get it.
And it couldn't. The deer couldn't eat because they had horseflies on it.
Right.
And she was constantly shaking her hide and flicking her tail and moving her hind leg trying to get that horsefly. And we watched her sit there and eat, and she couldn't even eat because of the horseflies.
They were just harassing her. She ended up just leaving because she was just getting tore up.
Well, she had to get on the move to get the horseflies off of her.
Right. Well, the other thing too is I mentioned it earlier, but we killed 4 or 5 doe back in December in that rifle hunt, and they were covered up, but especially on their I don't know what you want me to say here, but on their butts. And I was telling Brandon,
like on the holes.
On the hole.
Oh man.
And I
that would suck.
I ain't never got a tick in my butthole.
I'm just telling you.
That would suck, dude.
I'm just telling you.
Bad.
Can you imagine?
Could you imagine getting a tick on your butthole? No. Who would get it off of you? My wife. I mean, I got a good one, but I don't think she's getting a tick off.
I don't know.
There's no question.
I bet she's probably over there so much she probably find it.
Somebody watching this video is gonna say, you know what? I had a tick on my butthole once.
Hey, if you have had a tick on your butthole, we will help you out. Okay.
Oh, God,
I mean,
I ain't pulling it off.
No, I didn't say I was going to pull it off, but
okay.
but we'll get Luke to do it.
Okay. But
that has to be miserable.
It has.
Well, think about the stress, and then on the ears. I've got a picture that I'll send you that from last year that there was no ear showing; it was all ticks. And you're going, man, can you imagine
how miserable that deer is all the time?
And if they're stressed out, per your comment earlier, they're not going to eat.
Yeah,
if they're
not going to grow either.
And that's right. And so we know because of data that they've shown us that it's going to help their growth. It's going to help them be more healthy.
Yeah.
It increases their gut health.
I believe we're seeing it in Missouri through Andy. I mean, he showed us some pictures.
Yeah. I mean,
it's definitely helping. Of course, up there, they got corn for days, right?
There's feed everywhere.
But still,
you still find those bucks.
The proteins you guys are building are pretty good.
Yeah. And the pellets are, we had those tested this week. I think I saw an email come back. We have our feed tested every other shipment, and on our, because we want to do 2 things. We want to hold our suppliers accountable, and we also want to make sure that we're giving people exactly what we're supposed to give them. And to be honest with you, we're giving them more than what's on the bag.
People spend so much money going outside and go, hunting and duck hunting and everything else. I mean, it's nice to have a company that just tells you the truth and say, look, this is what we offer. This is what we got. This is what we want to do with our deer. We're trying to make your herd healthier.
Right.
I mean, these guys spend a lot of money hunting.
Yeah. And if they're serious about it, they're going to take whatever steps they have.
I've never heard any other feed company come out and say,
right.
Say something like that. I've never heard anybody. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm not watching the right stuff, but it makes sense to me.
We have people, we just had a truck come from a guy called me. He bought $4,000 or $5,000 worth last year. He called me and he said, hey, I'm coming up to get some stuff today. And they came all the way from just around Lafayette, the way up there with a flatbed to get 6 pallets of nut grub.
I mean, it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
So how many bags? I know you said whenever you got into the company, they were building they're only building one truckload full.
Well, that was that 1 year.
That 1 year. So
Yeah.
how much y'all are up to now? How many bags of Nut Grub do you put out?
Well, we are probably going to hit 35,000 this year. Just Nut Grub. We really thought we were in with the distributor, and they went with one of the competitors because it's just cheaper. You know, you can sell it for $10 a bag.
Yeah.
But you get what you pay for. We all know that. And I tried it. You know, you try to preach to those guys, but, you know, sometimes it's all about the money. It really is. I mean,
yeah, but, you know, I found out that you make sacrifices to save money on something, and you don't get what you want. You always buy the good stuff.
And it ends up costing you probably
more.
Twice
You end up
much.
spending more money. It's a fact.
I guess so. It's our job just to educate people here. You know, say, look, I mean, you can spend $5 on this, or you can buy an off-brand for $250. And think it don't taste as good as.
And think about this too: when a company copies another company, keep in mind there is a reason they copied that company.
That's right.
It's obviously the best. I mean, let's be honest.
And Tim, our first conversation with Andy, and man, is that guy? He is such a great salesman.
Yeah.
He tells me all the time, I told you, you know, and
absolutely.
I love the guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Andy's good as gold.
Yeah. He's so fired up all the time.
Well, I mean,
he's fired up.
You say
he loves it.
You say he's a good salesman. He's a good salesman of what he believes in.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. I mean, I don't think he could sell something. He wouldn't be a good salesman if he didn't believe in the product. For sure.
I've always said I sell for some of the best manufacturers in the world, die casting and metal stampings and what have you. And you know, one of the things that I've always I kind of live by the thing. I don't want to sell for people that I got to make apologies for.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because you then you're on the defensive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always on the offensive.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do more than what's expected. You treat people right, and
just do the right thing.
You do what you say you're going to do, and everything will fall into place. It may not do it right away.
Yeah.
Is Nut Grub where I want it to be? No. But we want measured growth, and Terry Mays is the absolute best. He's Mr. Spreadsheet. He shows me and he goes, oh, I got this. And I go, look, is it black at the bottom of that spreadsheet or is it red?
Mm-hmm.
All this other stuff, you have fun with that, but I just need to know if it's black or red. Mm-hmm. And God, what a blessing, man.
Yeah.
Just what a blessing.
Well, you got to have good people behind you.
Well, you got to make money in order to improve the product.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'll tell you this, I don't take this lightly. There's no question. It's such a strange deal that I'm back at the old Fordyce picture frame building.
That's what you said earlier in the telephone.
And I could not believe, when you told me
you used to work here.
Yeah, I used to run this place.
Yeah.
And back in 2002 to 2005, and Joe Barnes, one of the best guys you'll ever meet.
Oh,
you know,
good as gold too.
He's first cousins with my mother-in-law, and they started this company back in the 60s, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And we're back. I'm back here.
Yeah.
I never would have dreamed it.
Yeah.
And so we're very thankful for you guys.
And outdoor industry.
And I brought you something.
All right.
Now, we got here.
Now our swag, we're new swaggers, okay?
New swaggers.
It's our new swaggers.
We are too.
Luke designed this.
Okay.
And I want to give both of you guys.
That's awesome.
I want to give both of you guys one.
Heck yeah.
And this is an extra.
Do y'all have a website that y'all sell the stuff on?
Yeah, nutgrub.com.
Nutgrub.com.
But we really don't sell a lot. We sell some of the smaller items like
right.
The
no,
Grub,
no, we could sell all this stuff for you in our gear shop too.
Okay,
yeah, we do have a gear shop. We're building an inventory of stuff.
But we've got some beanies and stuff for you guys, and we're swag guys. Luke's been helping me with that, but
well, he's
shout
younger.
Out to Luke.
Oh, you gotta have that guy in there.
Yeah,
I can't hardly communicate with the new kids these days.
Oh, that's the problem.
It's totally different.
Well, I mean,
you get a 2-year-old, they can screen shoot stuff on your phone.
Oh, my son's done PDF presentations.
This is
for me.
wild. I'm like, how do you know how to do that? You can't even talk right. You know how to flip.
That's right. Yeah. So I think you got to have that. I think you got to have somebody like him around to help you.
You do.
Like the hats. He was making fun of me when we did our hats last year. They're terrible, by the way.
Yeah.
And
you designed the hats?
we just put our logo on these hats, and they're not the Anderson.
Well,
Is
basically,
it Anderson. Who's the good
Richardson.
Richardson, yeah.
Yeah, that's what we got.
He said you got to get the Richardson hats, and I go, I'm not paying that much.
Hey, I got a connection for you guys on hats. I'll give you after this.
All right,
I'll get you some sweet hats too, because
Awesome.
we're in the middle of getting some sweet hats too.
I don't think they're sweet looking. I think they're stupid looking.
Well,
but
he don't-
they're good looking.
They're not straight bill, are they? You know, the flat.
No, they're not straight bills.
because I would.
But it'll look really cool with y'all's logo.
Y'all got a really
with
cool
with
logo.
the buff buck.
Yeah.
Y'all should
It
give
looked
tattoos
really
out.
cool.
And you know, that's the thing. Whenever you talk to people and they say, "Oh, I'm already buying your stuff," and they'll say, "I'll say, are you buying that bag right there?" And they go, "No, I'm buying something else." And I just
You're
don't
like-
understand that logo is so recognizable. I
Yeah.
mean, and the white bag and
It's the marketing. It's the
it is.
awareness, I guess.
So we're doing some new things this next year. We're going to have a loose mineral, like a 20-pound bag of loose minerals. It's going to have all the Herd Max items in there. So we've got that coming. We've got a couple of other products. We do want to come out with a set of boxers that, you know, we grow them bigger all over it.
We grow them bigger.
My wife will buy that big time.
Yeah.
We grow them bigger.
She'll say, "I wish it was bigger."
Oh yeah.
You need to make bikinis like that, because that would really, because
Oh my gosh, yes.
that fits in.
I'm going to get in so much trouble.
Oh man,
with
I'm
that,
telling you, we get you hooked up all kinds of stuff. But you also said you had something unique coming out, which everybody's been needing this for years and years and years and years.
If you want to touch on that, you don't have to say much. I know it's still
even back in the rice bran days, where rice bran was a big hit. Obviously, Nut Grub is smashing the performance of that.
Yeah.
But the feeder, because you mentioned something about a feeder for Nut Grub.
Yeah.
So how's that going to work? Or you don't have to go in details, but I'm excited to get one. Hopefully, I get one soon.
Yeah. I figured you'd throw that in there somewhere, which is fine.
Can we hook it on the back of a Tacoma?
Yeah.
I'll build you a
trails.
bracket. Yeah, I'll build you a bracket.
Because that would be sweet.
Yeah.
But tell us a little bit about the feeder.
So one of the biggest things people ask is, how do you put it out? Well, I usually throw it on the ground when I'm hunting, but
do you do a line or do you do?
I do a line, and sometimes
I do a pile. Should I be doing a line?
I don't know. I do it for camera purposes. That's what Luke tells me all the time. He goes, "You're being dumb by putting it in a pile." And so he does a line, and then that way they'll come in on both sides.
He tries to get more
Cameras
deer on the
over here.
camera.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's right.
Well, because you see deer, they'll protect the pile. I mean, bucks will run other bucks off the pile.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I mean, if you have I can see that.
I've got countless pictures.
I need to start doing that.
And videos of doe standing up on their back legs, pawing it.
Yeah.
I mean, even in young bucks, they'll they'll run them.
I want the most aggressive deer. Like, I want the one that goes in there and knocks them all off the pile. That's the one I'm shooting.
King of the Hill.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But yeah,
anyway, it's a feeder. We get sidetracked on piles.
Yeah, we do.
What about the feeder?
So I had a customer reach out to me, and he had a feeder that was okay, and it would distribute nut grub and rice bran and what have you. And you know, we'll call it my real job. That's what I do, is sheet metal fabrications and castings and stampings, and I saw huge opportunities. I mean, he's selling his after tax and shipping $3,000. Okay. And you can't cube them down or anything.
I mean, I've seen
that.
something like that.
Yeah. So I haven't shown you. I showed Brandon, and they're really slick. They are a
very
sheet metal.
simple, very simple feeder.
Very simple.
Got you.
And
Simple's better these days, you know it?
absolutely.
It appears to be.
All right, here it is right here.
Check my game cameras real quick.
Here, check it out.
We've
wow, that's a closed in box and everything.
It's solar. We're using the Tacticam solar panel that has a lithium battery in it.
That's right.
And it'll pull out about a pound of nut grub every second. It's got counter rotating augers. You don't have to buy a 12-volt battery. We're going to make it. We've got different wire harnesses that we can, but there's no need because it's so efficient. If we just turned it on, it will put every bit of the 350 to 400 pounds in less than 3 minutes.
I'm not too sure if he wants to show the camera quite yet.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's still in prototyping because you guys gotta wait, but it looks good.
Just imagine a future where you have a feeder
that will distribute. That's going to make you more
efficiently with solar power.
Yeah, with nut grub, we just throw a big pile of nut grub out, but that's going to
that'll keep it out of the weather too.
Yeah.
Well,
Keep it dry, because when it does get wet, it's an issue.
It has a UV powder coat, so it will never, ever, ever rust on the exterior, ever. It's very robust, and it is made really well. And we've got a U-shaped bracket on the bottom that you can put a wire down to a.
So when's that gonna come out?
Right.
I need one.
I'm gonna debut it. I'll get you one before then, but I'm gonna debut it at the Big Buck Classic.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Cool.
And that'd be really.
They're gonna love that.
They are gonna love that.
And we're gonna do pre-orders, but we've got another one that we're going to do that we're building that is gonna hold 1,000 pounds of corn and whatever, because people still want to do corn, and you'll be able to have it a divider.
Well, corn's a little cheaper, but it's candy. It's nothing that's helping the deer whatsoever. That's right. I think that's what people need to understand. If you want to kill bigger deer, grow healthier deer, this is your playground. This is where you go spend your time. I mean, you could throw corn out, just kill a deer, or you can actually try to make the situation better.
Yeah.
So it depends on what they want to spend,
And even holding deer on your property. You know, it's like you want to hold them there with a food source that's giving them everything they need,
right? So
they don't have to look elsewhere.
Yeah, and we've got a couple of biologists around the Little Rock area that have helped us with a couple of things and saying, hey, I met them at the Big Buck Classic, and hey, what does a deer need? But
everybody buys corn.
Yeah. Oh, well, the corn deal is just a cheap deal.
Yeah,
it
is.
And we sell some corn, but it's just, because the same customers that we're selling Nut Grub to are buying corn. But it's not something we do on a daily basis. If somebody needs a deal on corn, I'll see if I can help them out. But
or at least mix it with your pellets, right?
Yeah, we can do that too. But it's
good filler.
Yeah, it is, and I think it's important to, one of the things that I really wish we could get the price down, because a lot of people say
volume
does help that. So,
but it's not for everybody, and I hate it. I wish I could sell it for $12. I can't even get close to that.
Yeah. What is your price when somebody walks into the store to buy it? What's the price they're paying?
Well, it depends on the retailer. $16.99 to $17.99.
I mean, you buy a bag of that, it'll last 3 days. It's going to give you an idea of what's in the area.
That's right.
Whether you decide to continually use it, but you at least get you one bag and try it out.
That's right.
It's a small gamble.
I'm telling you,
take to see what's on your property.
If you're trying to find out what's there,
but I promise you,
get a bag and you'll find out.
I promise you, you spend $150 a month for 2 months. You commit $300, buy you some nut grub, and feed it. You're gonna have a good season. And that's what's important.
And we are going to.
It's a small price considering what you pay for everything else.
Well, it goes back to you get what you pay for.
That's right. It's a very small price, no doubt.
You can go buy corn. You can go do that, but corn's not going to bring them in.
No, it's not.
Like Nut Grub and some of these competitors.
It's a smell,
Yeah, and the competitors, we actually did a deal where we put our competitor and we put corn, we put I don't know, Big and J, persimmons.
What's funny is we've done the same thing. We've tested everybody's stuff.
Yeah.
We had sign here, sign there, camera. It's like, okay. Obviously. Yeah, we've done that before.
Yeah. And it's really.
Nut Grub goes first every time.
Yeah. And I'm not one of those guys that would show you results. I mean, it's on the game camera.
Well, we're the type of guys, we don't want to waste our time.
Right.
We're like, okay,
we want to buy something that works.
If I'm going to buy a pallet of stuff, I want to know what works the best. Yeah. So that's why we did our own little test. I'm like, I'm not wasting my time with this.
That's right.
I mean, this stuff's $400, $600 a pallet, I'm like, I'm not buying that if it don't work. So we did a little test. We know what works. That's what we commit in, that's what we do. So
well, that's why I bought the company, because I just knew there was something in my heart that told me that this company could really, really grow, because it's so good.
Yeah.
And I couldn't let it go to the wayside.
I think it's definitely going the right way.
Yeah, we're just gonna say the same thing. Definitely going the right direction. I think the most important thing right now
little one
is get it out and let people know what it is.
Absolutely.
And check out that stuff.
I'm super excited to try some kryptonite. Going in the woods, walking in, maybe spray a little bit on my boots.
Oh, absolutely.
Just cover scent, because it's just, if it helps me 1%, 2%, 3%.
Yeah,
that's the little percent I'm looking for.
It's oil based,
so
it
stays.
Like you said, it's oil based, so it won't.
I'm telling you, it's so strong. You can smell it. You spray it and go downwind of it, you will smell it. Even our sense of smell can pick it up. It's really strong.
It is strong.
But that's what you want. And I just think I'm glad that that we got this back on board. We were thinking about changing the name, but
I think it's wonderful.
Kryptonite's great.
It is because you got a buff, buck right there. So Kryptonite's very fitting, because it's the Kryptonite's gonna get them killed.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
I like it. I think the branding's great on it.
But we're very excited, and like I said, I'm so thankful to own a company like this.
We're also going to put a 5-pound bag in every boat that's sold until December, I think, something like that. So we are going to spread this stuff out to the nation.
So you guys can try it.
Yeah,
you really need to try this. It is seriously going to work.
You buy a Havoc boat, you get a free bag of 5-pound bag of Nut Grub. Go out there and throw it on a tree. Do what you want to do with it. Watch the bucks come in.
You better keep the salesman at the boat place at your retailers from reaching in there and grabbing them first.
Hey,
well, that's the deal.
I hope they don't try it. They try it, they will be.
Oh, I guarantee.
I got 11 boats coming in. Okay,
the big,
11 bags, baby. Let's go.
55 pounds of Nut Grub.
The big joke around our place is when people leave, they come by and buy a pallet of it. I say, don't leave that pallet outside, at a gas station, because you'll come out and your tires will be gone, your Nut Grub will be gone, everything. They'll steal it all. I mean, that's how crazy these folks are.
Yeah, that stuff. It just works. I mean, you can't tell.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, Scott, thank you for coming. It was great to talk to you.
It's a blessing to be here
and learn a little bit more about Nut Grub and how it works and everything you have to offer with it.
I can't wait to see some pictures and posts from you guys. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey, as soon as we leave here, I'm telling you, dude, I'm gonna be out there, boots on the ground.
I went yesterday and it was hot and not blind. I ain't getting a blind.
But I sure did see a lot of deer though.
I'm gonna be hanging in a tree.
Oh, I seen a bunch.
No more blind hunting.
He's like, it's hot out here. I'm like, well, I'm in a tree in the shade.
I should have
on a ridge. It feels good out here to me.
I should have grabbed my saddle. I was in there for 10 minutes. I thought, boy, I made a mistake.
Yeah, that's right.
Too hot.
And it's so dry right now.
Oh, it's dry. Mad dry.
I mean, you can hear the deer walking from a mile away.
So bad.
So they hear you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, you need a pile of Nut Grub and a bowl of water.
Well, that's funny you say that. On that feeder that we're doing, back to the feeder for a second. We're gonna create a trough on the side of the feeder on the legs, that will hold water.
That's a good idea.
Hey, that's money right there.
That's money. Yeah.
I mean, if they don't have water, like where I hunt, the elevation change is about 450 feet, and the creeks are all at the bottom. So if they had water up there, they won't travel as far.
Right. Right.
So
water's important to deer.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're going to do that too.
It also will help you kill them because they'll need it.
I need all the help I can get.
I do too. I mean,
so
they got to fall in my lap.
Well, I think that wraps this up.
All right, man.
Thanks for coming, Scott.
Thanks, Brandon. Thanks,
guys. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, leave a comment, tell us what you want to see, and guys, you got to go get you some Nut Grub and give it a try. There ain't nothing like it. If you want an inventory of what kind of deer you got on your property, Nut Grub's where it's at.
Yep.
I will catch you on the next one.